As ready as I'll ever be. Breathe. Okay, the library officer here. Okay. Okay, so like where you were with Taylor. It was at 9 to like, I only had one official time to practice. It was a screenshot with a personal message to you at 9:12. Without it, it was probably about 9 minutes. Okay. Well, no, I'm really good at talking slow. Yes, ma'am. Okay. I know. I know. No, I will project. Stick with the theme, right? Stick with the theme. Hello all, welcome and thank you so much for coming out. I'd like to start off with a quote. We live in a society exquisitely dependent on science and technology, in which hardly anyone knows anything about science and technology. And I really hate not knowing. I wanted to be the type of person who could fix his own problems. I did not want to know that my device was broken and not be able to fix it. So that's why I decided to study technology. Another reason for my inspiration is Mr. Reynolds and his class. Prior to my junior year, I had thought that I wanted to be an engineer, which is by all means a respectable career, but it wasn't until his class that I truly realized that my calling was with computers and with code. And that brings me to my research. What I studied was how we as humans, interact with our technology and how businesses and classrooms use it. Even over the past 10 years, it has advanced so much. Computers were not always prevalent, especially in classrooms, and now we use them every day. Businesses use more and more cloud sharing and email. And all this comes with a price: our privacy. The more and more cloud sharing and email that we use, the more we can access it at home, and the less personal time we have. This goes so far that there is an entire branch of science called cyberpsychology, which studies how this invasion of privacy affects our minds and how our technology affects us as people. But I decided not to study that. I chose to focus on the change in technology, and that's exactly what I did with Mr. Fisher. because with change and with more technology comes more maintenance. Mr. Fisher is our technician here at LCHS, and he does many, many, many things. Among them are rewiring laptop carts, inventorying new laptops, and adjusting the hardware for the building's routers. All three of these I helped with. And even though this only scratches the surface, I have really realized how much work goes into a tech support center that he runs. And I decided to continue this over into my service with Mr. Thomas Lent. The only difference now is that this was mine, and it was specialized. I wasn't working with just general hardware. I was focusing specifically on Google products and for teachers alone. It was mostly a virtual thing, but I did have one physical location every Friday during fourth block, in that room right there. And there really weren't many common problems. I didn't see any recurring themes. It was as varied as the people that I dealt with. The second part of my community service was with the Louisa Master Gardeners, and it was a cooperative effort with Governor School student Kat Lowenstein. I was in charge of information transfer from the old to the new, while Kat did design. And I couldn't have asked for a better partner to do it with. The website turned out beautifully. I am very happy to hear that the Master Gardeners are also very thrilled with it. As for a legacy, I believe I helped the Master Gardeners and the teachers, those who needed it, by giving them the services that they needed to continue what they do. The Master Gardeners will use this website for hopefully generations to come. And I feel very, very happy that I was able to contribute to that. It's also left an impact on me. Before this entire experience, my emails were not exactly the most professional, but I learned many cooperative skills, such as email writing. And I couldn't have been more happy to work with the things I did and the people I did. In the future, I plan to attend either Virginia Tech, which I have been accepted into their College of Engineering, or hopefully UPenn, which I will hear back from tomorrow. No matter what, I have decided to study computer science. Again, all thanks to Mr. Reynolds. And before I finish this one out, I'd like to say a quick thank you to my advisor, Ms. Jackowitz, my mother, and anybody else I worked with. There's too many names to count. Thank you all so much. Are there any hands? Ooh, lots of hands. I'm going to start with Taylor. Oh, for teachers. You're asking like which one was the most challenging for me? Ooh. Let me rack my mind. I can't think of one off the top of my head. None of them were truly puzzling. Like, some of them I just couldn't solve, and I just didn't have the knowledge for. So I hope that answered your question. Elizabeth? So a lot of it was an unfamiliarity with Google Classroom. This has been a new thing, and that's why I decided to do my internship on Google specifically, is because prior to this year, teachers were using Windows and Microsoft. And now they made the switch to Google, and I wanted to be there to help facilitate that. But a lot of it was not knowing how to use Google Classroom to its fullest extent. Dr. Widow. I hope it will. I am currently in the process of looking towards to other Governor School students that are coming up in the future and hoping that they will continue on what I've done. Tristan, I know you've been waiting for a while. Yes, that was one of the main goals of my community service, was to not only help it make it easier on them, but to inform them on how to do it in the future. So yes, I did. And you had a question? Right now, I believe it's Mr. Richard Hind, the president of the Master Gardeners, but beyond that, I do not know. Miss Jackowitz. I'm not quite following. Oh, so yes, he did not know anything about websites. So we were looking at someone who, as he said it, was working with stone tablets and chisels. So trying to build a website for such a person was a little bit of a challenge, but through a lot of miscommunication and work, we actually managed to make it happen. So the one thing I failed to mention was Kat and I are on a 30-day maintenance period that will end on April 4th. So we are nearing the end of the website, and it is soon to be fully finished. So along the way, as we've made changes, we've been showing him how to use Wix. We set him up with his own Wix account, and now he's taking his baby steps, as he wrote to me in an email. And I believe he's progressing fairly well. Michael? Yes, it did. I think that in the future, I'd probably set guidelines for myself about doing less of my business work at home. And I want to keep my personal time and keep my privacy to myself, not my employer. Erica. Any of the big name companies would be very, very welcome. But I think as soon as I get out of college, it'll be whatever job I can find. Aaliyah. If memory serves correctly, I believe it was around 15, maybe a little more. Yes, Zeph. Are you asking about coding language? Okay. Well, I have the most experience with JavaScript, so I'm going to have to answer JavaScript, but I also have been looking at C#, which is a very intriguing, if not extremely complicated language. Excuse me. Was it really that good?